our session Talk to Us with Bharat Vaani. I'm your host Erica and our guest for today is Prakash. His background involves research and application in the fields of pharmaceutical, banking, manufacturing and healthcare. So before we get into all the juicy bits, Prakash, can you please introduce yourself to the audience?
Sure. Thank you. Thanks, Erica. First of all, thank you very much for inviting me. I am Prakash. I think I am currently partner at ZS. ZS is a professional services firm, and they focus on multiple domains. And life science is one of the big ones, which we actually involved into. But at the same time, we do a lot of beyond healthcare focus involving into financial services, FMCG, part of it, travel and hospitality as one of the core focus areas, and hospitality part of the things. So these are some of the things which we focus on. My role within ZS, I specifically look after and lead the advanced data science practice. I also look after the research wing for AI within ZS.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit more, basic, for the public to understand what is AI and what is data science?
Got it. Yes, sure. So there is a lot of term floating around. I mean, if you look from what people talk about, there is a data science, some people call it the AI, some people call it the ML. Well, although everything goes toward a core goal of how we can automate and make machines learn, but the data science is a superset of everything. So data science is something which focus on creating the whole pipeline to solve an application. And that could involve your data collection, data processing, pre-processing, algorithm part of it, and other core component of it. The AI is something which is used as part of the data science. So that's a second bit which is bigger into it. And where AI look into is how the technology and the machine we can make them understand and interpret the data. And again, AI itself can have a two core domain, and that's how the people look into it. One is a narrow AI, other is a general AI. Because a lot of time you must have heard about cognitive AI, where the machine is going to reach to a singularity, where you will not able to distinguish between you're talking to a machine or you're talking to a human, and that's what the Turner test look into. And that singularity is still not there to be verified. It's still a very active area of research. But when it comes to the narrow AI part of the things, lot of success has been achieved in different fields of AI. But that's where the AI focus on. Now the AI do have a further subset of machine learning, which is mostly algorithms, which basically those are used to make machine learn in a specific way. So this is a subset within AI. So you can say that that's the hierarchy which goes when we talk about ML, AI, and data science.
Okay. Can you give us an example how AI and softwares with it have positively impacted our society?
Got it. Yes, I think. Well, the AI. When we look at the impact of the AI, there are two core ways you can actually look for impact specifically. And again, it has an impacted across the whole society. It's a social and the economic. Right. So there are two core parts to it. When it comes to the social, you can see that there is a multiple dimension I can define how AI is impacting people. It could be efficiency because automation which AI is bringing, and you can see go to chat center, you can go to chatbots are making people more efficient, solving the smaller need of it. That is one of the things. The second thing which is helping is our lives in terms of satisfaction. Our lives how it's basically impacting. And just to give you few examples, the COVID. I mean, it's definitely one of the big event which has happened in last 2 years. During COVID, the digital adoption happened in 1 year that's supposed to happen in 10 years, roughly. So even I can tell my experience, my mom and dad have started doing online shopping. Which is, of course, I couldn't envision before COVID.
Exactly.
But
I think previous 2 years,
yes,
we wouldn't. I don't think they would have even picked up the phone to like make a payment. But right now, I think it's in need that everyone's learning how to.
correct. So that's where I think the experience is actually changing. And again, and one of the things, because that has happened, some of the things, even the personalization, how we can make that transaction much more efficient become very important. So personalization that's where it's coming very, very critical. So it's impacting our life, how we are making those transactions, how we are actually dealing with our day-to-day query needs. So the lives in general are getting affected. And again, in personalization also, 70% of the people get dissatisfied if they don't get the right personalization. So that is a huge impact. The third dimension, the way we look at the social, could be the environment itself, because AI, again, there's a lot of computer power we are actually using. So there is a huge carbon footprint. I think that's a cryptocurrency. There's a lot of things which is going around. But in general, there is also indirect effect of AI to the environment. And one of the very clear example, if you look at the Google or Waze, they are maps which helps you to not only get you the right route, but they're actually saving footprint. Even in 2022, the Google has released that eco-friendly routes, which can actually give you a route which can save pollution, right? So AI is almost everywhere there. Of course, the economics is also helping to get the business more sustainable.
Yeah.
So yes, it's all across that way.
That's right. So how is AI playing a role in the field of healthcare, and what are the benefits or drawbacks that we have faced?
Correct. So AI in healthcare, again, I mean, so you can look from AI in healthcare in multiple ways again. So one way to look at is, I mean, because we are very big into life sciences, so I can actually try to define from the phases perspective. And I think with the COVID, the advantages become much easier for me to basically tell people the stories. So in general, I think one of the, we basically divide that the R&D, which is the drug discovery part of the problem. And the COVID is one of the big one where you have seen the pharma companies have really done an amazing job to bring the vaccine in such a short period. And just to give some references, I mean, in general, it takes 10 years to get a drug to market. And it's 2.6 billion on an average cost which is involved to taking a drug to the market. Now, AI is helping each and every step of it. I mean, it's actually helping to find you and some of the challenges which happen is finding the right patient, finding the right sites, monitoring the site, getting the right information. So there is a lot of AI component which goes in finding doing that mapping stuff associated with optimizing the clinical trial, optimizing the design part of it. So that's where I think the whole journey is getting affected. AI is actually into even finding your molecules. So one of the recent example is the first molecule, AI founded molecule, is going to go in a human trial for Alzheimer's disease. So it's there and it's real. So it's going on that aspect of the drug discovery part of the thing. Similarly, it's also impacting the human as a patient health overall. And one of the things which we have also worked on and we published last year in AAAI is patient identification problem. And one of the things which I can talk about is the patient identification for rare diseases, because rare disease, because they are so rare, I mean, in general, the diagnosis time for the rare disease is 7 years. So it's even if the person has a condition, it will not get identified, and it get identified at very late stages. At the same time, it also in those 7 years, on an average, people get misdiagnosed 3 times. So they are actually getting treatment for things which they don't have. So that's become very important. Although we say that rare disease is a people with a less condition, but there are roughly around 8,000 rare diseases. so, so it's a huge area. I mean, if you look from a perspective, and I mean, at least the survey which is done in US with a population, although we say it's a rare disease, with a 30 million population, there is 1 in 10 American really have a rare disease. So it's not so rare overall. So now finding the right patient and how can we reduce that patient identification process, it's a huge impact on getting the health care part of the ecosystem. So it's AI is actually helping us to churn out a lot of the patient related information to figure out the condition. Can we do that clinical decision making much faster? Can we do that identification part of it? Can we find the right treatment? When to switch that treatment? So there is a huge impact even on the patient healthcare part, which basically this AI is actually helping. So it's a huge when you start looking at the different aspect of the problem.
Yeah, I think it's like so deep. Like AI helps us solve so many problems, and I think this topic is so deep that I don't think you would ever complete talking about it.
Of course, yeah. I mean, this is of course. I'm definitely very passionate about the impact of AI. It's making a different field. So, but overall, yes, it's a very deep and growing. And what we are able to do 10 years earlier and what we are able to do now is definitely much bigger, and we are making
more advanced.
And also the adoption is increasing because when we started from a data science perspective, the firms they are adopting the things, so their whole ecosystem is not ready. Getting data into more centralized fashion was not there. Now they put a whole decade around getting their data in a form. Now how to use that data and create the values. The companies are now deriving a lot of values out of it.
Okay. How is your technology different from the competition in your niche? Like, what is the USP?
USP? Okay, all right. So ZS, so one of the multiple things which actually sit when we talk about the AI itself, and and one of the things from a ZS perspective, again, we are very deep into analytical part of the firm, and just to give you some perspective, and ZS has been started by 2 professors from Kellogg's, Andrew Zolter and Prabha Sinha. So they are a professor with a background in mathematics, and they were part of Kellogg's University. And they have wrote a paper on the multi-knapsack optimization problem, which they have actually applied that for how we can use for territory optimization. So that's how the ZS has been born out. So one of the definitely the ZS is into analytics when again data science is not even coined as a that big a field. And one of our core USP comes with definitely with a strong analytical what we actually bring, as well as the huge domain which is involved, because if you go to any data science use cases, the thing is math is important, but how you translate that math or contextualize that math into an outcome is very important as well. And with that, we basically get into a lot of the AI product currently in market, and we have many product in life sciences related to patient identification, clinical trial optimization, design intelligence part of it. Similarly, we do have a lot of product in beyond life sciences, which focus on personalization component of the things, voice of customer assessment, which is basically getting into more NLP side of things, with natural language processing, how we can actually utilize unstructured data to drive insights overall. So there is a lot which we are actually focusing from all the different dimensions.
Okay. So what are the learnings that you have acquired, in your professional journey?
What are the learning which okay. Well, so I think I had a very interesting journey where actually I started. I mean, as a data science overall, and actually to some degree, I started my data science during my bachelor's itself. In roughly around 2002, when the data science term is not coined. The data science term is coined in 2008. I was working with Professor Manoj Kumar Tiwari. He's a very well-known, accomplished professor, currently director in NITI, I think. So I get a chance to work with him and learn a lot of evolutionary optimization and operational research, and that's what it used to call in those days. After that, I went for my master's and PhD to University of Wisconsin. There, actually, I started working on manufacturing as a core area. So I have worked with a lot of automotive companies, focusing on fault diagnosis using data. How can we basically identify where the failure is in the production line and how we can correct those failures automatically. So that time people have started talking a lot about flexible manufacturing system, where you can have much more automated ecosystem to adjust the ecosystem part of it. So that's where I started focusing a lot on the manufacturing side of things. Then I did my second PhD when I moved to Warwick, and that I did in the services part of it. And there I focus on one of the very unique problems where people go and basically so there is a lot of time in digital market. What happened is, or basically when you talk about, let's say, take an example of cell phone, it's 100% inspection during the manufacturing. So each and every parameter is being measured in terms of KPIs. It goes to a market, and still there's a lot of warranty failure which happens. And there's a lot of scenarios when they take that phone to for a testing and evaluation what really went wrong in the phone, because they really want to understand the problem of it. There's a lot of scenario when they are not able to recognize any failure. So all the system is working as intended to. And they actually tag that as a no defect found or no fault found failure scenario. So all the system has failed, but there is no failure which has been identified. And this is a very big problem when you go to this aerospace overall. So we basically worked on how to really identify and correct those no defect found failure. So technically there is no failure to start with, but finding those failure in the whole ecosystem of design, manufacturing, and warranty is something which I worked on. So that's where get a lot on the services side of the ecosystem. And again, I moved to I got a chance to work in research consortium as well, where I got to work, bring the real research to industrialization. Because one of the challenge which happens a lot of time, people do a lot of good research, but when you try to make that into production, it fails. It doesn't work out because there are other challenges which need to be resolved for. And one of the very unique technology was, which is when I was working around 2012-14, is focusing on the remote laser welding. It's a amazing technology in terms of, if you look at, it's improved the efficiency of manufacturing by 10x. It reduces your floor space by almost 4 to 5x. So you don't require that much machine. You can basically just one machine can do the whole job for you. So this amazing technology, but one automotive company actually just went and took that device and replaced their whole assembly, and it drastically failed. So it just failed. And so basically we worked with the government to basically reevaluate that as a European program to basically bring that to commercialization. So we actually did an assessment around what exactly was the problem, where it's failing on. And there we realized that to make that technology operational, you need 3 more layers of technologies to be built. And that's where we basically created other solution as a part of it. We patented some of it. So that's what it happened. So there is, the settings are very different, and as you take a solution from much more controlled environment to uncontrolled environment, it also requires a lot of effort. So that's how. And then I moved to ZS, where I am focusing a lot on life sciences part of it, and currently beyond life sciences, where we are trying to see how we can bring the data science into different community altogether. So.
Okay, that's nice. Can you share like an interesting story or like an incident that has happened or while you were developing any application of yours?
Got it. Yes. Well, I can share one story which is well, I don't know how interesting that is, but it's a one time when we actually, so it's related to one of the work we are actually working on. We are going to talk to get some data with our client, and so it's me and there is one of my more colleague, Krishna. So we were in another call, so we get few minutes late. So before, when we actually joined the call, and there were discussion already started. The first discussion, and in the discussion they started calling out my name first. And so they mentioned something that where we'll get this data, and they said my name, and then then there is another person, they raise another question, then they raise another my colleague name, and we said, okay, we are the first time in this meeting. I don't even know these guys. So I think I was just going to intervene after 5 minutes because it happened multiple times. Then the person from their side speak, and then I realized there is another Prakash, another Krishna in the meeting. So, yeah, that is.
Okay, that's funny though.
It's kind of, I think, I don't know if you've seen that movie Angur with Sanjeev Kumar. It felt like that for a few moments, but yes.
Oh my God. Okay. Okay. Is there any advice or message that you would like to give to the entrepreneurs or innovators of India?
Yes, I think so data science is a very evolving field. I think there are multiple things when we talk about AI and data science in general. It's a fairly evolving field. I mean, the space is changing so drastically, and even the philosophies and thought process, the way it's changing is huge. So in general, I think it's very important. I mean, at least the two things which is important when we actually think about, one is if you're really trying to build your career out in data science, it's very important to get your foundation right. Sometimes it happens people just jump on, do the most recent stuff, and then they ignore the foundational element of it. So that's one. The second is, again, algorithm is very important at point of time, but I think it has to be contextualized in terms of the domain. So bringing that two together is when you can really see the power and the value of the data science, because data science is more about solving a problem and application.
Okay. So I would also like to congratulate you on receiving, the top 40 under 40 of Data Science Awards. All of us would like to know, how did you feel at the moment, and what was the journey of receiving the award?
Got it. Well, okay. So I think it definitely feels great. I mean, to basically recognize for the journey which you have been involved into. And again, I feel that the journey is definitely rewarding for me. I end up learning a lot part of it, and it definitely gives me much more energy to go forward and do even more things which we can actually give back to the society as well as to the data science as a community. So that's where I think that's what I'm focusing on right now, and that's where I think I'm also focusing on how we can disseminate a lot of the learning which we are actually trying to do.
Okay. So what is next for you, Prakash?
what's next for me as an area. So there is so there is multiple things which we are have done over the past few years, and one thing which we are actually also trying to look after, and I'll tell you, I mean, there is a lot of advantage of AI, but there is a lot of disadvantage of AI. One of the things which is start becoming very very prominent is around trust in AI. That become very, very important. So who is responsible if something goes off, right? I mean, I can give a very good example of self-driving cars. Self-driving cars, we are saying that there will be no driver to start with. What if self-driving car, something goes wrong and there is an accident happens? Exactly. So who is going to take that responsibility at the end of the day? That's definitely, it's very unanswered completely question. There are still rules and regulations and people are now started discussing about it, but that's one part of it. The other part of the issue is the biasness and fairness with the AI. How do we make sure that we are not biased when we are actually building something? And that's one of the common things which could happen, because it's very easy in some of the pattern space to get biased when you start designing it. So that's again one of the core things is very, very important, and how to preserve the data privacy at the end of the day. So some of the things which I'm actually currently looking after is how we can bring that trust in AI by bringing the privacy and synthetic data generation. There is a lot of it's a big area in itself, which look after how we can bring that trust within the AI community. And I do see that going forward there would be a similar kind of role which we basically start talking as a forensic data scientist, which is the people who are going to make sure what is built is trustable in all aspect of AI.
Okay, thank you so much, Prakash, for giving us your time and helping us at least scratch the surface of AI and data science. Thank you so much for coming on Bharat Vaani, and have a good day and best of luck.
Sure. Thank you. Thanks, Erika. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you.